Heidi and Stefan.
Yep.
And welcome back to the Ice Cream Parlor.
Yeah, welcome back. This is another episode of the Ice Cream Parlor where we just sit around and talk about horror movies.
Eventually,
yeah. What are we talking about?
What's up?
Yeah, right. What's up? It's like I haven't seen you forever. This is good. This is good. We've been podcasting a lot more lately, and this is fun.
Well, you mean consistently?
Consistently? Yeah. We get these little road bumps where we're like we record and then all of a sudden we fall off for a little bit.
The thing is, shit's been hitting the fan lately, and there's so many transitions. Like we're even moving soon. So
are we? We are?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Podcast is
new
moving
studio.
soon. Yes.
Again.
Well, it's because it's hot here. Like I just went to go change out of some clothes because I sweat through my shorts.
It is hot, but it's this week and it's all over the place. I think it's like in the upper 90s or so in parts of LA.
Well, we're also in an apartment, and we have I tried to do the summer without air conditioning units, but we had to pull out the portables, man.
Had to. But
the only two windows are that are available for it are the far ends of the apartment, and they don't meet into this delicious whirlpool of cold air that you want it to.
It's not like a centralized AC system. It's not. Yeah, we have these little little pockets of hot air.
If you walk into the hallway, it's like you lose 10 pounds. It's
right?
So hot.
And in the bathroom, forget about it.
You have to leave the bathroom door closed, which the cat doesn't like because her litter box is there.
Hey, at least she knows how to meow when she needs to go to the bathroom.
Or scratch you.
Yeah, one of the two. Yeah, man, it's been extra hot, I think, this last week or so. There's been fires and shit going on in North Cal, right?
Yeah, Northern California's on fire. Trump's being an asshole saying we need to sweep our floors because forest floors are the cause for it. Nothing to do about climate change or anything whatsoever because, stupid.
Right.
You know what I heard?
What'd you hear?
That LAUSD's, I guess, positive testing rate or whatever the hell it is at 275 positive tests. So I don't forget the ratio, what it was, but if they get to 200, they'll have the option of petitioning to open up LAUSD, which is the Los Angeles Unified School District.
So that's a good thing, right? That means the numbers went down so they can open up the schools, or is that like a
right? But
bad
this
thing?
Is usually when people like the reason why we had a second wave is because people feel comfortable and then all right, let's fuck around,
right? Well,
and then it'll come back out, but. I think people will have the option of going to school versus distance learning. I think I'm going to keep my kids on distance learning at least until the end of this semester.
Right.
I mean, they seem to be doing good with with distance learning. Right. And the teachers have been doing pretty good. Everybody, well, not everybody, a lot of people were talking shit within the district. Well, my kids' schools have Facebook pages that are private. So a lot of parents were saying, it was just such a shitstorm right off the bat because, we had to, out of nowhere, are you recording? Yep. Out of nowhere, had to suddenly figure out how to distance teach, Mm-hmm. So there's no way that they can think that those same standards are going to transfer into a space that they've been able to plan for. And though it's not going to be perfect, it's at least going to be structured in a way that should allow for proper learning environment, at least during these trying times.
Right. Well, I wonder if if it's a good thing that the numbers go down, they open up the schools, but then you get all these kids
going. The numbers will go up.
Right. Then it's going to be a whole second spike.
What was it in Georgia? A couple of weeks in, they automatically had to shut down the school again because kids every time kids go back to school, the entire time my kids have gone to school, they're all these years. My eldest is a senior in high school this year, and my kids are pretty conscious because they have a mom who is germophobic, conscious about my kids. Thankfully, knock on wood, have never even had lice. You know what I mean? That's unheard of, really. And so,
is it though?
Well, it's in schools. Yeah, there's a lot of other kids. That I have a friend who's got kids. I have friends that have kids throughout, and they're like, "Oh, so and so classroom got lice or whatever." It's a common occurrence. So But my kids are pretty okay with, not getting germy, but they still bring home like a cold, like first couple of weeks of school. So how can they possibly think that it's a good idea to start off with elementary school students?
I don't know. I mean, there was this funny little picture meme thing that one of my friends online had posted on his like Instagram stories, where it showed like a gas mask and like all these different types of masks for like different purposes, like for fire, for gas, for this, that, whatever. And then it says just the little like cotton masks or even the N95, whatever. It's just a simple face mask that they show. Oh yeah, it was like a painter, a gas mask, like toxic fumes, whatever. And then it goes the most deadliest virus in human history, and it's just this simple mask. In other words, like, maybe we should be wearing something a little bit more protective. I don't know.
Well, here's the whole thing. Painters have to deal with fumes. Firefighters have to deal with ash. We have to deal with droplets. And droplets can, if you're socially distancing, that helps. But if you're unable to keep that far away, or if you're in, space where people are moving around, just that mask, like the ones we now sell on our website, icecreampodcast.com/shop.
Yeah.
You'll be able to buy a mask. Thank you, by the way, because I had forgotten. And ours are double layered. Plus, they have a filter that we include, and
they come in cool patterns.
And they come in cool patterns like these.
Hopefully, we have a picture by then.
We will, because we're finishing them tomorrow. I mean,
okay.
The point is not to sell the mask. I mean, yes, we want to sell the masks, but that's the reason why the virus is going to be helped by a mask.
Gotcha.
It's really more about the droplets you're spitting out of your mouth. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of what's out, kind of just circulating in the air.
Right. I gotta say, your lipstick looks pretty ravishing today.
Really?
I don't know if that's a new color on you or something, but it looks pretty good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried.
Yeah. Looks like you did something new with your hair too.
Yeah, I figured I'm wearing harem pants. I can do an I Dream of Jeannie.
Well, we all know you can wiggle your nose like Samantha.
That's Bewitched.
I know. I said the name right, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Too bad you don't have the magic powers to go along with it.
That's what you think. www.brujaha.com.
Yeah.
I also can wiggle my ears.
Yeah, slightly. That's cool.
I mean, they have big hoops on right now. But
yeah, I could see them moving.
And then so those are the things I used to freak people out about when I was a kid. It was my nose. It was the ears. It was a tongue.
All right. You sure you want that one on
the
camera?
The ladies like that. You're welcome. But, I mean, we all have our things. And then I can do these things with my fingers, which freak you out.
No.
Well.
But do that again, because that looks like it ties in really well with the movie that we're watching today. Or that we would, yeah. Brains.
No, it's not that one.
I know, it's not that one. But
today, we are talking about Day of the Motherfucking Dead. And we're not talking about the traditional Mexican holiday. We're talking about the movie from 1985.
Oh, right. You know what? I never even put two and two together when we watched this movie, like Dia de los Muertos.
Dia de los Muertos.
De los Muertos.
Mm-hmm.
Day of the Dead.
That's right.
Cool. I wonder. That's interesting. So let me ask you this, because you're a little bit more of an expert than I am on this. This is technically not part two, but it's part of George A. Romero's Night of the Living.
Wait a minute. I am not an expert on this whatsoever. I just like the fucking movies, first of all. Second of all, my understanding is it's Night of the Living Dead, which is They're Coming to Get You, blah, 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 right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Then it's this one.
Right.
But this one was actually supposed to be a different movie, and they settled on what this movie was. And then they did Dawn of the Dead, which was what the original premise for this movie was.
Okay, wait. So
I think this is two, is what I'm saying. I don't know is what I'm saying.
Well, it's a George A. Romero movie. It's a zombie movie. And
might I add, it's also special effects by Tom Savini.
Right.
The master of my heart.
And doesn't it also feature Greg Nicotero?
Greg Nicotero has a part in the movie, but he also assisted Tom Savini. In fact, there was an interview I saw where Greg Nicotero said, I think it was in that 80s documentary, was it?
Probably. Into the Darkness?
Into the Darkness.
Yeah.
That Nicotero said that this is where he discovered his love for it because he was an assistant to Tom Savini. Also, do you remember when I think I scared you and maybe the people next to us
at the comedy
store when I'm like, oh my God, Greg Nicotero follows us on Instagram.
We just got, shout out to Greg over there. Thank you for following us, We were at the comedy store watching Kill Tony when you could actually congregate at the comedy store.
Oh, I know.
And we just got finished with, they just finished rapping Kill Tony.
All you hear is, oh my God.
I know. And I thought something bad happened. The people who were at our table were like, what the hell? And then all of a sudden you're like, Greg Nicotero's following us. I was like, oh, okay. That's good. I mean, that's cool, but it was very beautiful. Surprising because your reaction was like almost as if somebody got injured or hurt or died or whatever. And I wasn't sure what to make of it. It
was one of the best days of my life. Now, if only we can get Rob Zombie, Tom Savini, and who else?
I don't
know.
Serge
Tankian. That would be good.
Serge, he's not really much of a
I
horror
don't care.
movie buff.
I think it would be really cool. And then Darren would be really awesome.
I don't think Darren follows anybody. What do you think about Wes Carpenter? That would be cool. That would be really cool.
If there was a Wes Carpenter and he followed us, that would be okay.
That would be cool. Do you remember what episode of Kill Tony that was that we were at?
Oh, why do you think you can hear the oh my God?
No, it was after they stopped filming. But I'm wondering, that wasn't the one where it was Donnell Rawlings, was it?
Oh my God, it was.
Was it?
Oh my God, that's one of the best episodes. Like, I love when Donnell Rawlings was at like that Kill Tony episode is one of my.
It was a little, yeah.
If y'all don't know Kill Tony,
I don't know if
we love Kill Tony.
Yeah.
You can see the Kill Tony band calendar behind Stefan over my arcade over there. But like we love that show. That's how he and I bonded. Really. Was over Kill Tony and inappropriate jokes and lots of whiskey.
Yep. And the Comedy Store, which
the Comedy Store, which we can't go to anymore.
Yeah, we can't. Well, we can sort of now.
Shouldn't probably.
They're doing outside seating, and they're
I'm
doing.
just not into that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I want the comedy to come, but that they're doing some comedians through the glass, like when you sit out in the front patio.
In the OR?
Yeah, in the OR, there's that glass window, and they're instead of facing the audience where they normally would, they've set it up to where they're facing the patio. So it's almost like they're in a zoo, or you're at a zoo watching a comedian behind a glass performing. I don't know.
I don't know if I would like that, but I do miss that bartender that gave me extra strong drinks.
You're talking about Pucky Johnson?
Yeah.
She's also a comedian herself. Well, most people who work at the store are comedians.
I don't think I've seen her live.
What did I call her?
Pucky.
Punky Johnson.
Punky.
Let me rephrase. Yeah, Punky Johnson.
Yeah, she was pretty cool. She gave me a free drink once when she took too long with my drink.
Right. Yeah, she's always hooking it up.
Yeah, like I do miss the people there. I do miss Kill Tony. I do miss running into them, like getting drinks and stuff. I do miss going to shows in general.
Yeah, shout out to all the Kill Tony crew. It's been a while.
Hello.
Hopefully
None of you guys listen to us, probably.
Yeah.
But if you do, say hello.
Yeah.
Hello at icecreampodcast.com.
Joel might. Who knows?
Yeah. I guess so.
But
he was in that video. Oh, I showed you, right?
Oh, yeah. What was it? It was like The Good Life or something?
Life is Good.
Life is Good. That real Mexican, La
Onda.
I want to say it wasn't so much a song, but it was more just like feel-good music.
It was like spoken word poetry.
But
it was cool. Beautiful. And we'll post a link because I actually really, really like that song. But it's funny because I watch it because I follow Culo Breaker. For those of you who don't know who that is, that's Psycho Mike out here in LA.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
Culo Breaker is
Culo Breaker, like ass breaker?
Yes. He's Culo Breaker is one of the characters that Psycho Mike plays. Psycho Mike, you may know him from Loveline with Dr. Drew. Before that, he was also in the Kevin and Bean show here locally. But yeah, Psycho Mike was Culo Breaker. Rudy is it Rudy Cisneros, or is Rudy Cisneros somebody I actually know? I don't know. I get my Mexicans mixed up. Anyway, he plays like this super stereotypical orale.
Yeah, with the big mustache and everything.
With big mustache, and he's talking like this, eh? And so you may not be like, it's a caricature, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm watching the video and I'm like grooving and I'm like, that's Joel. And then I go to his page to see if he had posted anything about it. And sure enough, he's like, hey, I'm in the video. And I'm like, oh my God, full circle.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, we're talking about Joelberg Jimenez, who is the drummer in the Kill Tony band. Yes. This has been a very Kill Tony-centric opening so far. Well, it's because
I miss Kill Tony.
Yeah, I do too. That was our first bonding experience. I basically was like, if you can't hang with this, we can't be friends.
And I said, watch me, bitch.
Yeah, we've had many good
Yeah, and we've had a lot. I mean, not to like name drop or anything, and I'm not trying to do that, but it's been pretty sweet, like our experiences there. We got to see Bob Saget. We got to see...
well, he wasn't on Kill Tony, but he was in the OR afterwards. Because just pointing that out. But yes, we did get to see him at the store because of a Kill Tony night.
Yeah. But we also... He was a guest, though.
No, not while we were there.
Maybe because he also does like YouTube videos, so we probably saw that. But then I felt I was able to learn about the Legion of Skanks and fall in love with Big J.
A lot of drama going on in their camp right now.
Yes, Big J. But then we also were able to see like Too Short was one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Tom Segura.
Well, Tom Segura.
We went to the 5th anniversary, which was amazing.
Yeah, with Rogan and
Dom
Herrera.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And
comedy, I miss it.
And what's his name? Donnell
Rollins.
That was like absolutely one of my favorite episodes. It was fucking hilarious, but mostly because I don't like that guy. What's his name?
Oh, well, you can't hate on him on the podcast.
I'm not going to hate on him. He's just okay. How about this? I don't
He's part of the show.
Enjoy his humor as much, so it kind of was like a little bit extra sweet and extra crispy for me.
Yeah, well, it's something for everybody, you know.
No, it's a great show. Like I love every aspect of it, even William Montgomery part, which wasn't exactly my cup of tea. I was still able to roll with the punches. Like there, I enjoy it, but I can enjoy it and still have kind of like, you know what I mean?
I really admire them for continuing to try to do their show and their format through the pandemic. They just roll with the punches. Red Band and Tony just said, you know what, we're not gonna give up. We're not gonna stop. We're gonna find a way to do this, and you know they did. Unfortunately, because comedy is such an interactive thing, it really needs an audience, and it needs, you know, a little bit more, you know, I don't know, just all comedy needs a little bit more of a live audience feel, but you got to admire what they're doing. They're keeping the show rolling, you know, the show must go on.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I was going to say was that show specifically has kind of exposed me and you to all these other things like Ari Shaffir and Bert Kreischer and all that other stuff.
Your mom's house.
And, you know, at first I was like, Tom can get it, but now it's like, no, let me give it to Christina instead. So funny. But whatever, you know? And, but what
should we let him on a little tidbitty secret about how our previous studio is now being used by Ryan Sickler and
hold on a second.
Honeydew?
Before you do that,
I guess I let the cat out of the bag already.
Yeah, so Ryan Sickler is like in our old studio space that we had to move out of because of the pandemic. But anyway, what I was going to say was, it was nice to be able to go to the Comedy Store, and you know, we've had drinks with Tony and his wife, you know what I mean? We've had drinks with Joel, like several times, like knowing about them, like we able to know about different other bands, you know what I mean? Like
you're talking about the Baby Boys.
Boys, which when we went to go see the Baby Boys, we actually saw
Drac and the Swamp Rats.
And I'm like, oh my God, I loved it.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it just exposes you to all these other universes, and it's just so much exists, especially in a place like LA. So much exists, and we're able to make some connections, and like people just love each other, and it's just beautiful, man.
Yep.
It's beautiful, my dude. So, I miss it.
We'll get out there again. We you know, like I said, they are doing patio stuff. It isn't, you know, exactly the same without an audience, but they're making ends meet. And
yeah, but I imagine it's a little hard for something like comedy because You literally go there to open your mouth and spit. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they are, I've noticed from some of the episodes that I have seen that they are doing a good job of like cleaning off the mic and sanitizing.
I'm sure they are, but I'm
kind of
saying
stuff,
as far as the audience is, like, I know, like when you go back and listen to some Kill Tony episodes, you can distinctly hear my laugh there.
when nobody else is laughing.
All you hear is that.
Well, I was going to say one thing about their show and the fact that, we're talking about you need an audience for comedy and stuff. Most of the comedians that get up and do their 1 minute on that show are not necessarily the greatest. So the funnier part about it is the interview and everything that they do afterwards, the interaction or whatever. So that part of it's still there, You know
what kind of sucks though?
What?
I had been working on 60 Seconds so that I could be part of, like, so I could put my name in the bucket, and now I can't ever do it.
Yeah, well, you can still be hopeful. I mean, you can. I mean, you might have a better chance now because you used to work a job that would never have allowed you to get down there in time to sign up anyways, because you got to be there like 6 o'clock or something to get your name in the bucket.
And now that I'm unemployed.
Yeah, right? Now you can do it.
But yeah, but the thing is, times are different now because my jokes were, like Tom Segura said, not racist, but racial.
Did he say that? Where? On one of his specials?
On one of his specials. He's like, my dad's racial. Right. Not racist, but racial. And they're not racist, but just I talk about, my culture and,
Tom is in I guess it's like a horror movie. I've never seen it yet, but I think it's on demand now. It's called The Countdown or something like that.
It's a horror movie?
Yeah, I believe so. Some sort of horror suspense movie. I don't think he's the main character in it. But he's like, I think, because I saw somebody post about it recently.
The video where he shanks Bert?
Oh, yeah. That was great. The dance video?
That was awesome. It's like
he's just like, shh. And he's sticking.
And you know what? That's how you'll go.
Oh, me? Right. You like to think so, but I keep my third eye on point. What's that?
Nothing.
But yeah, he's in some movie I think called The Countdown, and I believe what do you call it? The main picture that's on like Netflix or whatever, the little like screen preview
Is
or
it
whatever.
A hamburger?
The screenshot, yeah. No, I think it's his face, like because I saw a meme or somebody post something where it's like, this is the face that the people make when they watch the videos on your mom's house. And it was him like all scared, freaking out or whatever. But yeah, it's his face on the screenshot of it or whatever.
No, I haven't heard Ryan's podcast yet.
Well,
like at all. I haven't heard an episode at all.
He's had some pretty good guests.
I did hear the one where Lana was on there.
Yeah, he's had some pretty good guests, including my boss. And I'm talking about our business, her business, my job, the Santa Monica Music Center. That was a good one. I think they're going to have her on again at some point in time. But he's had a lot of good guests. I mean, Joey Diaz was just over there recently. Unfortunately, I didn't get to run into him. He's in
Jersey now.
Yeah, he moved. Rogan's out of here too, so times are changing in LA. I've heard through Tom Segura on his podcast that I heard from Tom directly.
Tom told me. Oh, yeah?
No, that he mentioned, and I haven't heard the latest episodes, but something about there's a few other big heavy hitters that might be headed out of LA too.
Well, you gotta, the joke that we try to make here usually is, we pay extra for the weather, but the weather's turning into shit.
Well, no, it still hasn't rained in
the problem
forever.
Is that property is so expensive nowadays, and rents, like what I'm paying for this 2-bedroom apartment right now is ridiculous. Nobody should be paying this much for a 2-bedroom apartment deep in the heart of the ghetto.
I'll tell you though, I came from Orlando, Florida, where I paid a lot less than this for a lot more than this, but I'm a lot happier out here than I was over there.
Yeah, you pay extra. Like it's just how life is. Like you sacrifice something for something else. I know I could find a place bigger than my apartment in like the fucking valley, but I don't want to live in the valley.
Especially this time of year. I mean, imagine how bad it is right now.
I've lived in Vegas before, and I wouldn't go to the valley.
It's like that Entourage episode where Johnny Drama's like, you don't go to the valley. You only go to the valley during this time to this time, and Never after that or whatever.
Like, he's not wrong.
Nope, not at all.
Also, Malibu. You also don't want to drive to Malibu. Like, there's certain things you avoid. Like, you avoid certain areas in our hood, but you also avoid going to the valley and to Malibu.
Yeah, you avoid the PCH at certain times of the day.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Especially when it rains. There's mudslides everywhere. Anyway, what I was saying was, it's so expensive to live out here. And then on top of that, all of the beautiful beaches are like mostly privately owned, which sucks. So you only get certain slivers of land where you can actually go to the beach. And usually you have to pay a fuck ton, like $20 just to park your car.
Did I tell you when I first moved here, like I was like heading down to Venice one time, and like this was, I don't know what day it was. I don't know if it was like a weekday or not, but whatever. But like we were driving down maybe Venice Boulevard or whatever it was. And, you know, you get to like the parking lots that are off from the beach. And it was, I don't know, it was probably like $15 or so. And we were like, we might as well park here because it's probably only going to be way more expensive at the beach. So we're like, fuck it. So we pulled into the first parking lot, parked, got out, walked down to there. And then the beach parking, like where you can pull right up onto the beach, that area.
$10?
It was like $9 or something like that. And I was like,
Venice
what the
Beach
fuck?
is tricky. I hate going to Venice Beach unless it's, pre-pandemic. I hate going to Venice Beach unless it's on a weekday, like early morning, early afternoon, because you can park right on the beach, no problem, and you can walk up and see Daniel, the crystal guy, you know?
Daniel, the crystal guy.
Yeah. He's the reason why I had a pretend boyfriend named Daniel Lampoustry. Because I had just been talking to him, so the name Daniel was in my head. Anyway, and then it's clear. And then there's Heidi's hot dogs, right? Like, or Heidi's food or something like that. There's like a restaurant called Heidi's. And then like you can walk around, but any other time it's like dirty. There's no parking. It's so crowded.
Yeah, a lot of homeless people, a lot of, tourists and a lot of just,
So I usually go to Will Rogers State Beach, which is in the Palisades. And I know I'm comfortable with it because my high school was like a block away from the beach. Well, technically a block, but it's like a mile. And I park on Temescal instead of at the thing. But when the kids were little, I would pay for the parking because I didn't want to drag them and all of our stuff down a quarter mile.
Yeah, I think I got roofied at one of these Venice Beach club, not nightclub, but it was like an underground. It's like a little, maybe it used to be a speakeasy or something. There's like a bar up top and then there's a little staircase that leads below. Did I tell you about this?
Are you sure that wasn't somebody's house? That seems oddly suspicious.
I'm telling you, it was at the bar, but somehow, I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I don't really have the proof, but I got fucked up and I kind of blacked out, couldn't remember shit, and I got lost from my group. And luckily they found me later, but like I had a scar. My knee was bleeding and my elbow was bleeding. I actually still have a scar from that too. I don't even know what the fuck happened. Luckily, it wasn't like I was gone for super long, but
long enough.
Yeah. I don't know. It was very strange. It was like a burlesque show going on. And I remember. Are you
sure you didn't jump on stage?
I'm pretty sure. My cousin had been there before and he bartended and worked right down the street at a different bar in Venice. So we used to go down and hang out at all these bars. And there was this one that's down below. I can't remember the name of the actual bar, but they used to do this like burlesque show on like Wednesday nights or whatever. And we went down there and I remember, we were there with a good group of people. It was like 3 acts in, these girls come out and they're doing like, their thing, whatever. And then all of a sudden, I don't remember anything after that. And I'm not sure if I, had put my drink down or what happened. And it was a little strange and I still haven't been able to put any of the pieces together. Somehow I made it to my work the next day at like 7 a.m. I was doing a stupid telemarketing job back then. And somehow that's the only memory I had was like getting to work. So I drove there somehow and made it to work. Yeah, it was I was wrecked that whole next day. And I don't know. It was kind of,
That is very scary.
Yeah, I would have never suspected that something like that would happen to me.
Welcome to LA.
Right.
Thankfully, I've never been in a position where I've blacked out. that I can remember, which is,
Well, this wasn't just a blackout. This was, I think somebody really must have doused my drink or whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure. But, as girls, you tend to be more cautious because there's certain rules, the first rule of Fight Club, like there's certain rules that you have to adhere to if you're going to go out safely. And luckily I haven't blacked out. I do very vividly remember wanting to make sure I was okay by sitting on the floor in the middle of the street sometimes, or in front of a bar, or then there's video proof of that actually. And there's a lot of times where I've fallen asleep in many lifts, and there are many times that I've made some questionable decisions, and Marisol, who I'm not friends with anymore, has all of that evidence.
I think I even might have, I don't know if this was a different night or the same night, but I think I even left my cell phone in the Uber on the way home, and somehow I was lucky enough to get a hold of the guy, and he gave me my phone back the next day. I gave him a big tip because I was whoa, lucky. Thank you.
You do that a lot. We went out with Shelby, who was in town, and she heard me yell at you for the first time.
This was at Huntington Beach when it was my birthday weekend, like a year or so ago or whatever. Yeah. I don't know what happened that night, but I left my phone. I can tell you what happened
that night. He left his phone inside of an empty bar. We were at an empty bar.
Well, it wasn't empty when we were there. It was fucking packed.
No,
it was packed when we were there.
Stefan. That was the first bar.
Okay.
You left it in the second bar where there was there were maybe 7 people in there.
I don't know.
I know you don't know. I'm telling you.
We had a lot of drinks that night. I mean, I don't know what to say.
I mean, but I didn't. I definitely was the designated driver.
We found the phone. Luckily, we got a hold of somebody at the bar who said the phone was there, and we got it back. You were like, just leave it. We'll get it back again. I was like, man, Huntington Beach. We're not going to be able to come drive all the way down here. And I don't like losing my phone. So, yeah. Anyways.
I'm going to get you like a Velcro strap, like the belt clips, like old man clips.
I don't like the.
I'm going to do it anyway.
I think I might lose it more that way.
Your pants are going to fall off?
No, it's just that the clip might fall out of the pocket, the holder or something like that.
Have you seen those guys that always have their phone hooked up to their side and they always have a Bluetooth on even though they're not on the phone all the time?
Yeah, well, like they try to act like they're wannabe managers or agents or whatever, right?
I don't know.
Businessmen.
I don't know. I see it mostly in my brown community.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And you're like, are you talking to me or are you on the phone? Like, I don't understand. No Nintendo.
LA's a funny place, but it's great. I love it.
It's home.
I love it out here.
Yeah, people are fleeing it, but that's okay. Maybe we'll be able to afford a house one day.
So, this is a nice little segue back into our movie. The movie we're doing, Day of the Dead, takes place in my old, not necessarily hometown, but my old home state of Florida.
Yeah. So, 1985, George A. Romero, along with Tom Savini and a young
Greg Nicotero.
Very, very hairy Greg.
Hairy?
He had a long, luxurious hair.
Yeah, but you're saying hairy like he's like got fucking
He's a beast.
He's got like chest hair like hanging out of the top of his thing. No.
He's just got this beautiful mane. And he's young and hot. And they get together and they film Day of the Dead.
Yeah. Now, Night of the Living Dead was actually obviously a trend-setting movie, black and white. It had a great little like. It was very like. I want to say it was big, in the sense that it had a lot of impact and suspense and everything going on, but it was also like similar to like a Reservoir Dogs, where it's 1 or 2 scene, like not scenes. What am I looking for? The like there weren't a lot of settings. It was like the outside, then they're stuck in the house, and then there's in the house, and there's downstairs in the basement. Just like Reservoir Dogs is like takes place in a warehouse, and then
but they have a restaurant and tip your fucking waiters.
I love that scene. Buscemi's the man. I don't know. I kind of agree with him at some point in time, but
shut up.
But no. I think that's what I'm saying is like that one had very minimal usage of I'm looking for a word.
Settings?
I can't. Yeah, but not just a setting. Locations.
Okay.
This one sort of the same, but maybe a little bit bigger location, but same kind of thing. There's really just like this underground bunker that they're stuck in, and I've been noticing the little bit of a trend now that we've seen the two, and I've not really seen Dawn of the Dead yet, but I know the setup of it, that they're in a mall. And so I'm just looking at like how it's kind of like the same setup. You've got a...
Was it a shopping mall?
Right. You've got an enclosed space. The zombies are on the outside. They're trying to get in. The people are trying to survive, and they're just, they have nowhere to go.
Right. So Night of the Living Dead being such a great movie, and then the remake later on being such a big hit, paved the way for people to make all these undead movies. Night of this, night of that, day of this, day of that.
Yes.
And kind of like copycats, but not really hitting the mark like Romero does. A lot of them are very pleasant, though. And, Return of the Living Dead specifically has a nice place in my heart. But this movie, really quick, this movie is about a group of survivors who are researching what's going on with the undead, the zombies.
So like scientists.
In an underground bunker, and it's supposed to be set in Florida.
Yeah.
However, you mentioned that in Florida, they wouldn't have underground bunkers.
Well, most likely, yeah, because Florida is like below sea level. They deal with lots of sinkholes and potholes. And if this was a military base, then yeah, sure, maybe. But, and that's probably what it was, because there was military people, there was scientists, and there were zombies, right?
Well, so the movie was actually shot, like the underground scenes were actually shot at an underground facility in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right. Far away from Florida.
Far away from Florida. But the above ground shots,
the opening scene and all that,
are in Florida for sure.
Yeah. Now this one,
and then
added a different element to it from the previous movie, which was, I feel like, a little bit of sympathy and humanity toward the zombies, and like, because
so in the movie, what makes this movie a little bit different than the regular zombie films is what we'll say, is somebody's trying to figure out the why, and that is one of the doctors. He's trying to figure out the why, and we'll get to that in a second. But it is really just reminding that there is a humanity. Like, what is that movie? Somebody tell me what the movie is. It's a zombie movie, but it's these people think that everybody else is a zombie. It's really them that's a zombie, because we're seeing the zombiness through their own eyes instead of the other. So people are like, oh, that person just came and vomited, but they're the zombies. I
don't know. Like, the zombie genre is not really my favorite of the horror movie genres. I kind of, I wasn't the biggest fan. I only saw Night of the Living Dead when we watched it for the podcast. I've never seen this one either. I still haven't seen Dawn of the Dead. But the whole, I don't know. Well, I saw, like, say 28 days and 28 weeks later.
Resident Evil,
which obviously is zombies, but they're more ferocious and fast and like whatever.
World War Z. I'm sorry. Yeah, World War Z.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I really like the World War Z zombies because they're more like they're supposed to be like this primal part of you that's surviving even though the rest of your body is dead, right? It's supposed to be like this primal urge to feed. And in World War Z, I feel like they have much more similarities to the animalistic kind of lizard brain, which is feed, because they're like locusts, or they're like swarming,
Sure.
There's that scene where there's that wall and they're kind of like climbing on top of each other to get over. I feel like that would be the more accurate representation. However, scientifically, and the way the body rots and the way there's all these things happening and decomposing, I know that wouldn't be possible, and there would zombies be possible, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Well, this movie, I noticed from right off the bat, they have, because it's Day of the Dead, it's not the night, right? So it's not dark. It's not real. It is darker below where the
it's
military base is.
Yeah, but it's dimly lit. Yeah.
Just in general, I feel like a lot of the scenes are not very dimly lit. They're very bright. And again, you're right. They're doing research. They're trying to figure out why the zombies are doing what they're doing. And trying to
figure out if there's a cure.
Right. But there is a little bit of, I feel like I don't know if it's campy is the right word or whatever, but it's a little bit more, like, to me, this movie was like a comedy. It was definitely funnier. It wasn't.
I didn't find it to be as funny as it was more. I didn't find it to be as funny as much as it was a little bit slower, just in general.
Definitely had a slow moments. But like in the first installment, there was no characteristics to the zombies, were just zombies. So they didn't really have a personality. They all seemed to be definitely evil. This one, what was his name? Bub? He's real he's almost like a kind heart. He's scared at certain points in time. Even the other one, they turn the lights off and they're like, "Ooh, what's going?" You think about what you did in the dark, and you can just see their expression is more like they're a little bit nervous and more worried human. About a little bit more human.
Yeah,
more human than human.
Now you're talking. Let's see. How do I say this? I enjoy this aspect of it because if being a zombie was a real thing, right? Bath salts aside, there would be this transitional phase, like there would be a medium that it would let's say evolve, for lack of a better term, and it would be gradual. It wouldn't be now you're a fucking vicious monster.
Right.
It would be you're losing your grip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like there would be more of a transitional phase.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to say really quick was the movie, when it starts, it's this helicopter ride. And one of the scientists, there's a helicopter pilot, his friend.
He's great in the movie. I like him.
And then one of the military guys, and they're flying around looking for survivors, looking for supplies, But there's this one building that they focus on, and that building is now a museum in Florida. Wait, I forget where. There's now a museum where they host an annual zombie fest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I know before the world ended, I always wanted to do one of those zombie runs, or maybe like one of those zombie panic or escape rooms, but I guess I never got a chance to do it. And now it's like we're all trying to escape our rooms.
Yeah. So in the opening of the movie, I liked how they had the alligator sitting up at City Hall, and then these two zombies come behind him, and the alligator. At first, I thought it was a fake gator, but
it was real.
It was real when he moved. Yeah. I wonder if those guys behind him were actually just because extras, actors or whatever, or if they were partly at least trained.
I wonder if the alligator got paid.
Yeah. Well, I heard that all these zombies. So a couple things that I remember looking into when I read up on this on IMDb. Those actors all got paid $1 to be zombies in the movie. Because
those actors were actually volunteers.
Volunteers, right?
And they were actual residents of Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Wherever they were from. But yeah, it was it was funny. Only $1. I think they got a shirt or something. And
because they volunteered. They just wanted to be part of it.
I also heard that this was George A. Romero's favorite one out of the three or whatever.
Series?
Yeah, I think so. Which that's why
I heard that too. I mean, I saw that too.
And a lot of times the artist's favorite thing is not necessarily the audience's favorite thing. And I do feel like this one had some slow points and it did lag. I loved all the bodies getting ripped apart in this movie.
Well, a lot of that was real pig intestines.
Yep.
Gross.
Yeah. But we get set up real quickly and real early on that there's basically sort of these two groups. Is you got the military guys who are protecting, but you don't really like the military guys. They're not friendly. They're very racist. They're very rude towards the main character who I forgot her name. I know it's Sarah in the movie, but I don't remember the actress's name.
Lori Cardille.
Yeah. They're all you're gonna have to I don't know. They're just very rude and overtly sexual towards her. Well, you're the last girl here. You're gonna have to please all of us or whatever.
Well, they're not actually being rapey or creepy or anything like that. They do make some vulgar jokes, but the opening movie is that they're looking for those things. We find out that the helicopter pilot, which is John, he's there just to fly. And he has this beautiful, delicious voice. He's great in this. I absolutely love it. And his heart is just so pure and big. And he's so philosophical too. It's just beautiful. I guess you need one, right? Just one perfect character that gets it.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's okay. But we established that he's the helicopter pilot. He's just going to fly. His friend is, what is his friend's name?
I don't know. He's the drunk, right? The one with the flask.
He's not the drunk. Is it McDermott?
Yeah, the one with the flask, right? Who's constantly drinking.
Yeah, but they're both constantly drinking.
Right, but he's
but they're friends. They're friends. They're separate. They're not military and they're not scientists. They're there specifically to help fly, and the other one was electrical or something like that, right? That's what it was.
Yeah.
And then we figure out that they're there, but also we find that Sarah is actually dating Torres.
Right.
And none of the military guys like that because Torres is the only non-white guy there that's in the military, and they're a little fucking racist fucking assholes.
Right.
So
He's
I don't feel bad at all.
very unstable the whole movie.
Yeah, so he doesn't sleep.
He's freaking
and
out.
He's not handling the apocalypse well.
Yeah. I didn't actually get that they were a thing until a little bit later in the movie. Like, I didn't catch it right off the bat. Yeah. But like at first I wasn't 100% sure that they were together. So
we find that out just because they say it at some point. But yeah, they're not really loving towards each other, especially because he slaps her once.
Oh, right. It's twice. He gives her two good wallops in that same scene.
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, they go back down into the bunker, and it's underground for sure. It's an underground bunker. But it's like caverns, and they built into the caverns. It's weird. It's like on some of the hallways are half dirt, half earth, half like plaster, and
there's zombies down there.
There's zombies down there. They're keeping some zombies down there that the military guys go and get from the outside because there's a perimeter fence. And they'll go and grab some for research.
Right.
We do find out that when they land, that one of the military guys had died that morning while they were gone.
Yeah. What was his name? Cooper or something?
Yeah, and he's being buried. Anyway, so there's the military guys, and they are being led by
Sergeant Douchebag
Rhodes.
Rhodes, yeah.
Yeah, Sergeant Rhodes. Now the military guys, they're all rough and rugged. They have long hair. They have long beards. They're not keeping up with it.
They laugh very annoyingly.
Everybody except for Rhodes. Rhodes is stick to the book, clean shaven all the time. Just a very clear representation that he is not accepting the reality. He is still we're in the old world. We're pre-COVID. He's not adapting to the new reality, which for me was like, yeah, something's going to happen to him because he's sticking to his tradition, sticking to his old world mentality. So, we also find out there's a doctor that they call Frankenstein.
Right.
And he's like the main doctor. He was English for some reason.
Was he English?
I don't know, but he has an accent.
He has a slight accent, but I don't know if it's a British accent. I think it's
maybe
just
it was accidental. And then there's another scientist whose name I forget. So there's three scientists. There's Sarah, no name, and there's Frankenstein. And then there's the rest of military guys, and then the two guys that are they do other stuff. I guess civil engineers, let's call them.
The helicopter pilot and the
electrician.
Yeah, the electrician. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the groups. Now the scientists are being secretive about their research. The military guys are like, what the fuck? What are we doing here? We keep losing men over and over again. And then the helicopter pilot and the electrician, they're just like, whatever. Like literally the most chill guys in the apocalypse.
They have their little spot they call the Ritz, and they're just happy chilling over there.
Yeah, and their Ritz is actually this like trailer, almost like a mobile home,
sort of, yeah,
like RV almost underground, and they've kind of decked it out. They put a fake screen that shows the tropical island
and all that. Yeah.
And they're always drinking, which is probably the best thing to do in the apocalypse because that way you get nice rum flavoring for the zombies when they eat you. I think it's braised is what it is.
Right, yeah.
And a lot of and so what I do like about the movie, even though it is really slow, they give you the ability to really just get a full understanding of each character. They don't go too in depth with all of the kind of throwaway characters. But they do give you an understanding of Rhodes and Sarah and the pilot and the engineer and Dr. Frankenstein. They give you kind of a clear understanding. So I think that kind of balances, for me, it balances why the movie is so slow, because you get to know who the characters are. Sure. All the really gory stuff is like towards the end of the movie. Like you'll get the occasional like, oh shit, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so they're doing research. Dr. Frankenstein is actually requesting zombies to come for the military guys to grab zombies from where they're holding some of them, like a corral.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
underground again.
Underground, yeah, all of this underground. The only time we go above ground is in the beginning movie and the end of the movie.
Yeah.
And so we find out that he's been trying to research and study them to see, to understand the why, but to see if there's a way to put them to use. And we find that he has been using Cooper, and they find Cooper's military clothing inside his laboratory because, and then that's the guy that they had just buried. So he like dug up this dead.
No, he didn't. They didn't dig him up. Remember, there's a part where they say that they buried.
Oh, he buried a zombie.
A zombie corpse.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is really disturbing, but we realize that he's been feeding parts of he's been feeding parts of him to zombies and stuff, and he does that also to some other guys that end up dying towards the end of the movie. But he has the zombie named Bub.
Yeah.
And Bub has learned. He learned to shave. He learns to use a Walkman. He remembers what a gun is even at one point when Rhodes comes in and is like, and he tries to shoot him.
Yeah, he's basically being, trained in a way. The Frankenstein doctor is trying to communicate and to create behaviors and stuff like that.
So he wants to be able to civilize them so you can live harmoniously.
Yeah, he says it's all through a reward system.
Yeah, which is what you do when you train a dog or, kids.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Dr. Frankenstein knows that there is very realistic need to do that because according to his calculations, based on the population in the United States at that time, there would have only been 600 survivors in the United States in 1985, based on the calculations he made.
The movie takes place in 85?
Yes.
Do you think that the first Night of the Living Dead and this have at least the connection of the fact that the zombies
maybe it's the initial
were
one?
spreading? Yeah.
Like and then it's to grow.
Right.
But because they were actively burning people at that time, maybe the spread was more contained.
Yeah.
And then it took 20 years.
Well, that's
or
another
maybe,
thing too.
I guess
don't know.
15 maybe.
Yeah, that's actually a lot of time in between.
I mean, it's plausible. It's plausible. Like just in this last week in California, somebody was diagnosed with the plague. Right? So it's possible.
Yeah, anything's possible, especially in the movies. But I'm just wondering. I wonder how much of it Romero had plotted out or what he thought. Like, was it like a George Lucas thing where he's had episode 1, 2, and 3 in the books before he ever even made them, or a bit, and I've never seen Dawn of the Dead. I know you have. I don't know if there's anything that ties in to this from this movie into that movie.
I honestly, I don't remember and I couldn't tell you. So I was actually wrong. So I wrote it down.
Wait, can you repeat that?
No. The original script was not so easy to sell, so it became the basis for 2005's Land of the Dead, not Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, there's so many things of the dead. Do you know that?
Yeah.
There's even a Day of the Dead Part 2, which I wonder if that was just like a offshoot that some, I don't think it was George A. Romero's type connection to the movie. I think just might have been somebody who said, but it's so weird how there's like, these different storylines, I guess, that skew off.
Well, think about just of COVID. How many different stories can somebody tell? Yeah, and we're all experiencing the same pandemic, but everybody's interpreting it different.
Yeah.
Like you and I could drive down the street together. You can have a good experience. I could have a bad experience. You know, that's
for sure. I mean, if you want to look at it like that, just within every different city, there's going to be a different experience, because whatever's going on in New York and whatever's going on in LA or Chicago or Florida, whatever, I mean, it's not the same, you know? So like you could do a movie about the zombies taking over New York and one being of LA, and it would be different just because
and also a rural area,
which is where the first one took place, right?
Yeah, would be different setting than something like a big city, like Miami, for example.
Right.
They're both southern, but one is more densely populated. Than the other.
Yeah.
But yeah, so throughout the movie, Torres, who is losing it by the second, during one of the trips of the military guys going to go get more zombies for Dr. Logan. Oh, Dr. Logan. That's what it is.
Sarah?
No, Dr. Logan is Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
He drops, or no, the tether breaks because they have like one of those dog catcher things.
Yeah, he's just not holding it strong, and it breaks.
And two of the military men die. And
well, that's also the second time, I think, because remember, doesn't he? The first time around, he even fucks up.
He drops it the first time around, nobody gets killed. But this time it ripped or broke, and two people died. One of them was put out of his misery, and the other one was eaten by zombies or whatever. Yeah. But we find out that guy, the Greg Nicotero's character, is actually being researched after the fact by Dr. Frankenstein. And anyway, that is the catalyst to the human-on-human violence that begins. Torres does get infected, but Sarah cuts off his arm. The other guys want to kill him anyway. The military guys want to kill him anyway.
That was a great scene.
Sarah, yeah.
They cut his arm off, and then they take like a torch. They cauterize it with like a torch.
Absolutely. And then the two guys, John and another guy, the engineer and the helicopter pilot, they got her back. They have her back. And then they're trying to figure out, you know, how to take care of each other at that point, because it's now military guys versus these people. We find out that Bub has been eating, he's been being fed these dead military guys, and Rhodes loses it.
Yeah.
They killed the doctor. They killed the other doctor, Dr. No Name. And then they start to attack Sarah and her friends. And what they do is they put the engineer and they put Sarah into the corral where all the zombies are, and they give them no weapons.
Yeah.
And so they want the pilot to fly them out of him, and he's like, "No, I'm not doing it without my friends." And so they beat him up.
He sounds so much better saying it than the way he said because of his accent. I'm just saying, like, you know, he's got the great Jamaican accent.
Sorry, I'm not an eloquent Jamaican man.
Sarah, darling. He's got such a great accent.
I know, it's like velvet. His voice is like delicious.
Let me tell you, I can't do it very well.
But his positivity just shines through the screen, and he does have this delicate, gentle, like creamy voice, and he just makes you want. Like there was one point he tells Sarah, "All we have." Okay, I'm gonna say it, but then you say it in a Jamaican accent.
I can't do a Jamaican accent very well, but I'll try.
So he tells her, "What we need to do is we need to go to an island. We need to go. We need to get more find more survivors. Get some babies and continue the society."
Yeah. Which is in a weird way. It was almost a little creepy because she's the only girl really. He's there. He's like, we need to go make some babies.
Oh, there you go. He said it so beautifully, and I liked it so much. And I was like, shit, let's do this thing.
So the opening of the movie, the very, very, very beginning of the movie, is her in a cell of some sorts with a calendar and all. It's in October. I couldn't see if it was October 31st or not, but most of the month was gone. And then there was the scene where the arms break through, and that's,
her husband's in real life.
But did that was that just a dream she was having?
Yeah, those are dreams. Yeah, because when that scene happened and the arms burst through, she woke up in the helicopter when they were initially looking for survivors.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I did read one little fun fact that the first time they filmed that scene where the arms busted through, they the wall fell over on top of her. Yeah.
I mean, I imagine it would because they're not like real walls.
Right, it's like paper walls or whatever.
Okay, so the helicopter pilot's getting beat up. Sarah and another guy are running through, like, defenseless in through the corral, trying to escape through some underground tunnels. And Torres comes to, realizes he has no fucking arm. And he's like, I'm going to get these fuckers back. So he goes to the elevator that leads up to the surface. And he goes up there. He holds on to the button to go down. And then he gets eaten by zombies.
Yeah, at this point in time, does he open the fence though? I think he actually opens the fence.
Well, it breaks through. I think at this point,
they finally broke through.
Because when they start, I'm holding the button down. when they land in the helicopter in the beginning of the movie, it looks like it's going to come down at any point. It's just a chain link fence.
Yeah.
And more zombies are coming. You know,
I like the scene where they do have the zombies coming down on the platform, and the first one who steps off a little too early, and he falls on his face. But it's so
what a zombie would do,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. So at this point, because they're like, fuck it, the helicopter pilot is not going. They're like, okay, let's make a break for it. They head over. The military guys head over to the elevator to try to take the helicopter, figure something out. But they see that all the controls have been disabled from the inside, and the only way to get that up is through the control that's up. But then they see the zombie come down, the elevator come down, it's full of zombies. And they're like, shit. At that point, Rhodes gets into his little golf cart and takes off into the bunker some more, leaving behind the last remaining two guys.
The two military guys.
Yeah.
The little racist ones that are
the racist ones, yeah. And then
fucking assholes.
That's okay.
I don't like them.
But then, so if Torres is eaten alive, these two guys are making a run for it. Rose has the car. John at this point has gone inside to the corral to try to help his friends. Catches up with them, and they start making their way up towards the helicopter. Meanwhile, Bub, the zombie, has broken out of his. So he has a collar that's chained to the wall, and he's tugged on it so much that it broke. It came loose off of the wall. So he goes and he's searching for his, I guess, dad, Dr. Frankenstein, right? And he finds him on the floor, and he shows him, and it's so cute. He shows him the chain, like, hey, I broke this, fix it. Mm-hmm. But then he realizes that he's dead. And so he's roaming the halls. Rhodes is roaming trying to escape as well, and they finally see each other.
Yeah, this is.
And the other two military guys at some point die, but they finally see each other, and then Bub shoots him.
Yeah, he pulls a gun.
Yeah, shoots
Rhodes. There's a whole bunch of zombies behind Rhodes and the other side of the door. They come out. They get a hold of him. And they just dismember him.
They quarter him.
They do this actually a few times to a few people in this movie, and again, Tom Savini and Nicotero did a great job organizing all these things, along with whoever else was involved, obviously, in the movie magic part of it. But they do this thing where it's everything gets separated: the head, the body, the arms. They get ripped off in a different ways.
But does that mean that the zombies have superhuman strength? Because they didn't get through the chain link fence until there were a bunch of them, hundreds of them. But they're strong enough to tear a body. Give me your arm. I can't tear your body apart.
Oh, well.
I can't. I tried.
Yeah.
You were sleeping.
Nice. I don't know. That might be a slight flaw in the
logic.
The logic of it.
Yeah, but you don't watch the movies for the logic, right? You don't watch these movies for logic.
But I could tell you this though: the zombies are not trying to eat the fence because it's not something that they find edible. They want the human. They want the flesh and the brain. So they don't
eat the brain specifically. They just tear into the body and eat it.
But I'm saying when they get a hold of a human, they're more in like aggressive
so, okay,
eating
so you're
mode.
saying that that's the trigger.
Like, because they're not super smart. So to them, yeah, the flesh is the trigger. So that's why they're like, "Argh," instead of like the fence is just like, ooh, like bumping into it.
Yeah. So Sarah and
I like when Bub salutes him
he
right
salutes
after.
him, yeah. Because earlier in the movie, when the Dr. Frankenstein was showing the military guys what Bud could do, Bud saw that Bub saw that Rhodes was in uniform and he saluted him, but Rhodes didn't salute him back. So there was kind of like feelings and grudge there.
Yeah.
So the helicopter so Sarah and her group, they escape. They get into the helicopter. They get into the helicopter. Sarah opens the door and a hand reaches out to her. Mm-hmm. And then she wakes up and she's on a tropical island with the guys.
Yeah.
Because they had escaped?
That's where, again, I was like, wait, was this all just a dream or what was happening? But it was, I guess.
Maybe it was just a nightmare.
Or she was remembering what happened in like sort of like a flashbacky kind of scene.
Yeah.
But she's got a big decision to make now because, again, her hubby's gone or whatever you want to call him.
I mean.
And now she's got, people who want to repopulate the earth with her.
Well, there's still 600 people left in the U.S. They still are able to go to other countries. So I did read the Zombie Survival Guide. The Max, Brooks book? The Zombie Survival Guide. I read it maybe 10 years ago or whenever it came out. And there are a lot of interesting points in there. So, for example, a zombie, yes, can survive underwater. It would just walk, So that's one, unless you're, closing the beaches or something in a barrier kind of way. It's inevitable that it'll go across the ocean.
Well,
so you aren't exactly safe on an island.
They might get eaten by sharks on their way across the ocean.
No, because sharks don't just go around eating,
yes, they do.
Sharks, in my understanding, don't go eating at the very bottom of the ocean, which is where these zombies, the zombies wouldn't swim. Their bodies would decay faster in the water, but they don't require oxygen. They're not going to bleed to be able to tell a shark, hey, there's a person over here. It's just going to be something walking along the bottom. It's going to be decayed. Nobody wants to eat anything decayed.
Maybe. I don't know. I guess.
But so then there's that. And then if a zombie makes it up into the Arctic, right, it'll freeze, but it won't die. So meaning as the climate changes and things continue to warm up, at some point, those frozen zombies are going to be defrosted, and then it'll start all over again.
Sure.
So there's just a lot of things like that. I mean, I think it's an interesting read.
That's cool. Maybe have to check it out sometime.
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. All right, but the movie does stand, I think, and I think it's a great movie. I think everybody should check it out. I mean, most people have watched it already. I loved it.
Yeah, I
love the practical
I laughed a lot in it.
Effects.
I laughed a lot in it. I loved the effects too, but they also, again, I keep saying this in many episodes, but I wish I could go back in time and be 10 years old and watch these then, because I feel like it would, the people who did
you would have been much more impressed with the effects because they would have been brand new at that time.
Maybe, yeah. And I think that's a big deal on why there are many people.
To be fair, you would have been 4.
At that time, yeah. But who knows? I maybe would have seen it between the ages 6 and 10. But all I'm saying is that the way that it impacts certain people that love the horror genre and that love these old 80s movies, I think it's a lot of it, most of the time, is because they were able to see it when they were younger. I think you have to approach it differently now as an adult, which makes me wonder what the adults in our youth were thinking, when they were so spooked out and shocked by these films.
What did Buddy say in our last episode with him? There was a lot of good cocaine in the 80s.
Yeah. I wouldn't know, but I wouldn't have anything to compare it to now.
So think about it.
There's a lot of good cocaine these days as well, too.
Well,
you just have to have the right connections.
Sorry. But okay, think about it. The kids in the 80s, wait, follow me here. Kids from the 80s were, let's say their parents were hippies from the 60s, right? They were children during the 70s, but they were young adults in the 80s and starting to make these movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means that their parents, all drugged out and shit, probably had some drugs around to help and assist with the creativity.
Yeah.
And also they're less repressed, so they probably gave them a lot more freedom to be able to just say, go try it out. Just do it in the house.
I just think it's funny because, like, again, when I watch these movies now as an adult, I wonder about the adults of that time and, like, were they just taking it the same way I take it now, where it's like, oh, it's fun because of all the blood and guts and it was funny and I laughed and it was cool. But, like, I think there was a lot of adults that were truly shocked and scared or horrified with a lot of the 80s horror movies, like, just, because it might have been the first time they've ever seen this kind of slashing and blood and guts and killing on screen or whatever.
I would compare it to the first time you and I are, not together, but you or I watched Hostel, and that blowtorch to the eye, like, we hadn't seen anything like it before, and that tripped us out. Or the first time we saw found footage film like Blair Witch, or even
but a blowtorch to the eye is something that can actually happen, and therefore we as adults are like, ooh, that would fucking hurt or whatever.
Well,
but, like, seeing a zombie, sorry, go ahead.
So how about something like Saw? We're not going to get captured by some guy who's going to put us in a puzzle. You know what I mean? But when that movie first came out, we all freaked the fuck out when Wesley cut his foot off. We all freaked out when the guy with John or whatever the fuck stepped up, like stood up, who was the body. Like they're not the special effect you're talking about, but they're something new.
But it's a practical scenario, though.
No, you're not understanding, I guess, what I'm saying, or maybe I'm not explaining it correctly. The fact that something is new is going, perfect. Avatar, not the beautiful Last Airbender, but not the Shyamalan movie, the
Blue People movie?
The Blue People movie, yeah. That movie came out, I literally had to take the kids to see it like 7 times. And I enjoyed it 7 times. The special effects were great. Yeah, it was CGI or whatever the fuck, but it was beautifully done. It was the most, like, brand new technology, and it would have been like me in the 80s as an adult watching something with these special effects. It would have been, holy shit, this is fucking awesome. After you get over the initial, like, oh my God, this movie is great, this and that, you'll still, go watch it 7 times with your children because they're enjoying it. But you're also like, wow, it's so great how they made those light up. Oh, wow, it's so great that way that they did the hairs to match up, like all of those things. Nowadays, we can watch a movie that has the same kind of special effects with no problem.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just saying that to me, there's like, when it's a realistic event versus something that's somewhat supernatural, it's more easily to relate to. Like Saw, sure, we might not be in that position,
obviously,
but the things that were happening in Saw were all things that could happen to somebody and have happened to real people. Even though we never got captured and tortured, there are definitely sadistic people out there that there are sadistic people out there that have done that and tortured real human beings or whatever. Whereas, like, say Freddy, for example, that scared the shit out of a lot of people. When you watch that now, it's very comedic and funny. Like, there's no way that adults now, even if it's their first time watching it, are going to be... And the first one is a little bit horrific, but still very laughable. I just feel like that back then, though, it almost like, you see these people coming out of the movie theaters with their big 80s glasses, like, oh my God, it's like, I don't know if I'll sleep tonight, and it's like, lame.
Whatever. I mean, I still enjoy it, though.
Oh, I'm not saying it's not enjoyable. I'm just,
Like...
I started this whole point with me wishing I could go back in time and be a kid and really have the full effect where I'm like still, my mind isn't so, everything is, I don't know.
Hateration?
Like, that's not that I'm hating. I'm just saying, like, as a kid, your imagination runs wild and you can believe in things that are not necessarily as believable as an adult. And
right.
I think it would be nice to be able to experience these back then because it probably would have made a more lasting impression on me as
Absolutely.
a child.
Yeah, no, I totally understand.
Yeah.
I totally understand. I'm glad that I had no parental supervision during working hours, and I was able to watch all of these movies as a kid. Like there's some, like the movie Dolls, for example, like it's just marionettes, but it freaked me the fuck out. Like it still left an impression to, like, I don't own any porcelain dolls, and guess what? My mom doesn't either, thanks to a nice trusty old ball peen hammer, you know. So, so it leaves an impression, like it definitely does.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I think that's why Red Sonja was my favorite movie for such a long time, because Brigitte Nielsen was like the first woman I was attracted to. Like, I like to say that it was Lucy Lawless and Xena, but I think realistically it was Red Sonja. I would have seen that first.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
I will say though, there are also a bunch of 80s horror movies that I think that did only really have an impact on the youth or people because we were kids, and now when we go back and watch them as adults, we're like, oh, that was a little like.
A lot of it is like, a lot of them do well because of the nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
They make you feel good. They make you feel comfortable. They make you feel safe. This is like, I think a couple of episodes ago, I was talking about how I finally made a connection between my love of horror movies and my love of family, because my family were the first ones to allow me to watch a horror movie, but I loved it because I was safe, because it was, you know, it was something I did with my family. So that's why when I watch horror movies, like, you see me, you'll come here and I'm like laying on the couch and I have background noise and it's, you know, somebody getting dismembered.
Yeah, definitely. I think I was just, I think like Chopping Mall is one of those ones where like as a kid, it was like, whoa, but then going back and watching it now, it's kind of like, it's funny, but it's not really like.
Yeah, but I like Chopping Mall.
Did you like it?
Yeah. I like Chopping Mall. We'll do an episode on that one. It was pretty good. With their quote teenagers that were like 30.
Right, yeah. It was all like, let's go sneak into the mall and have sex, stay there overnight.
But why? There's tree houses everywhere in the 80s.
I mean, just go in the back of the car or whatever. Stay in the parking lot of the mall. You don't got to go in.
I always wanted a tree house. I never got a tree house. Like, my brother, my cousin, and I once built in our backyard, like a clubhouse out of like discarded wood, because, you know, brown people have discarded wood all the time. And we built one, like, and then they tore it down because they said it was ugly. Like, my mom thought it was ugly, but like, I always wanted it to be in a tree, like you know, like the ones like in The Witches. The little boy had that little platform in the tree. That's what I always wanted.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't have a tree house growing up, but my parents did put together sort of like a fort. Like, it was like
Didn't you have a fort in the woods?
Yeah, I told you about that, right?
Yeah.
So this was the same area, same house, but the woods thing was way back in the woods that I made on my own with a friend of mine.
That's not creepy.
But my parents in our backyard built this like kind of wood structure, and it had like monkey bars and like swings in the middle. Cool. And it was like it was like you could climb up a ladder and go up into the top level, which was sort of like a tree house, but it wasn't in a tree.
Like a play structure?
Yeah. So, and it was legit. I mean, you know, for us as a kid, it was pretty decent. You could like swing on the swings, or you could climb up the ladder. It had a little trap door. You'd push it up, go inside, close it up, and whatever. And, you know, it just was a square, and it was open. It wasn't like covered, completely boxed in to where you couldn't see each other, but there was one on one side and one on another side, like two towers almost, and then the swings connected in the middle.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the fort thing
the green slide.
Yeah, we had a slide down one side. Yeah, the fort thing I had going on with my friend was like way deep in the woods back there, past our property line. It was just nothing but woods and forest, and we went back there and built like our own little like structure back there. We had like a ladder and a tree for a lookout. We had we put up little posts, and then put we had like camouflage material, and we like cover that and camo, and then we had a little like area where we would like light fires and shit. It was, you know, and then the one crazy thing is that one day we came and the whole thing was torn down to pieces.
Like an animal?
No, we think it was a human. We think it could have been a couple things, but in our imagination, in our head at the time, so we think that it was some vagrant people that were living deeper in the woods. So we
You're
built
like,
our
fuck this house.
well, we built our little fort, which was way past our property line. And then one day, me and my friend kept going deep because we heard that there was this field that they shot an old time war movie in, like an old like 50s or 60s war movie. And it did. It had little bunkers still, like as if they like, didn't like they dug up the land.
Well, this is in Boston.
Yeah, it's not outside of Boston, but so we went past the place where the movie was shot, apparently, and then we went deeper into the woods, and no lie, we came across some other, like, almost Blair Witch style, like, not cabin in the woods, but it was like somebody's living quarters in the woods.
Shit.
Nobody was there at the time that we saw, but it freaked the fuck out of us because we knew, like, this. Yeah, I mean, there was
a stranger living right there.
Stranger living there, and so
you were kids.
Yes,
and you were like 7.
I was between the age of 6 to 10 at the most.
It's a wonder any of us survived the 80s.
We think that whoever was living there. And there was like weird Blair Witch shit, like bones and like things tied to the tree, and like it was creepy. And we think maybe whoever was there had come across our thing and just trashed it and whatever. I don't know. That was a scary time. I was also very young. Scary. But just imagine if we did run into somebody back there. And they were like,
you wouldn't be alive right now.
I know.
And I'd be sitting here talking to myself.
Yeah. It was kind of crazy, but
holy shit.
Yeah. I try to remember back. It was so long ago now, but we were like, we came across it from afar, and we were like, what the fuck is this? Like, holy shit. Like, it was different than ours, but like better. Like, it definitely looked like there was
it was like
more,
adult.
Yes, adult made kind of like fort camp, but it also had a lot of creepy, weird shit. Like I said, like bones and like sticks and stuff like tied together, almost like satanic witchcraft ceremonial type shit or whatever. Very, very, that's spooky creepy. Thing. Yeah.
Holy shit. No thanks. Like, I've always thought that I've missed out because I lived in this big city my whole life. I do love camping so much. Like, it was our thing. Like, even now, like, we go camping like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times a year. And I love it. But we used to go like real camping, like middle of nowhere kind of camping, with my grandparents, but, my parents too, but with them, it was like more KOA kind of thing. But, I always thought that I was missing out because the closest I got was going hunting with my grandfather. I never got to the point where I was able to, explore and do, 80s kids natural stuff. Like, I always did 80s kid in the city stuff, like left alone, run into strangers in an alley, rent videos, like go rent videos on your bike kind of thing, mow neighbor lawns, like things like that. I mean, like, and even going to my grandparents' house, it was like, shit, they put me to work, like I used to sell Desert Sun newspapers in front of the Luckies during my summer vacations. I'd get 10 cents to every newspaper I sold. So I never got to do any of those, like, out in the woods, this happened, that happened, which I'm sure I'm thankful for, but like, I've always thought like I've missed out in those areas.
Right.
That said, I do have a lot of inner city experiences, which I'm not exactly thrilled about, but I don't know. It probably would have been, I think I was made to live in the outskirts at some point. But I love LA. I wouldn't move away from LA, but I definitely need like a vacation in the outskirts.
Sure. Do you remember My Little Camping?
My Little Pony?
No, yeah, I remember My Little Pony too. But remember I came up with this little cool prank that I feel like I wanted to, I still want to do it, but I never pulled it off. But like,
yeah, but we'd have to go like real camping, not like KOA camping.
Well, it would be, let me, you know what I'm talking about, right? So I feel like this would be a really cool prank. If somebody else does it, whatever.
We're not mad at you.
But I feel like you go to a campground, first of all, before you get there, you buy a glow in the dark hockey mask, a Jason mask, whatever, right? You let it sit out in the sun all day, don't show anybody. The day you're leaving, and now this is where it gets a little tricky because I would love to see the reaction, so it's almost like you got to set up a camera to see. Mm-hmm. But maybe you don't leave the campground. Maybe you do it while you're still there.
Explain it.
You take the hockey mask after it's charged up all day and you hang it up in a tree, not high, but like, face level, somewhere in a branch or in a bush or in a tree. And as it gets dark in the campground, somebody's walking along, maybe going to the bathroom at night, and all they see in the distance is this glow-in-the-dark hockey mask. And then just to see the reaction of like what people do, like the mask doesn't move, it just sits there and
staring at you with its dead eyes.
But yeah, I think that would be very funny. I almost feel like it could have been like a hashtag this and then like have the next person who finds it then put it at the next campground they go to. I think it would have been fun.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but I want to see the people's reaction though. Like I don't want to just leave it and not know what happened. I would love to have a video camera.
So maybe like on the inside of the mask, not the glow in the dark part, like you leave instructions and you tell them where the camera is and say, now it's up to you to carry on the legacy, right?
Yeah.
And then you give them instructions for it.
You know what? That could be a nice setup for a new
Can somebody else
movie.
do it?
No, like if you think about it, that could be a plot for a movie. Like people,
but then the mask starts to take on the personalities of the people who found it.
Not even. There's just another killer that's on the loose. But people are like, what the fuck? Is it the mask? We don't know, And like maybe...
I'd like to see something like people put the mask on, like, oh, I found the mask, right? Hashtag this. And then the mask slowly takes bits of them and then, or so slowly project. I don't know. I'm just, spitballing here, but slowly like it like infects you with some poison of evil, and then suddenly you're like doing shit, like do dirt shit, you know what I mean? You start fucking things up, you start being evil or something, and then so it's like pay it forward but bad.
I got it. This is the premise for Friday the 13th part 13. Jason comes back to life through everybody like this mask prank? Yeah, this mask prank.
We have to get in touch with somebody who can put us to get in touch with the right person.
Did you ever? Yeah, that would be, I think it would be great.
Like, do not do this during 2020 though, because enough shit has gone bad. Like, don't release those mosquitoes in Florida right now.
They'll probably do it. They fucking they're crazy in Florida. Speaking of in Florida, when I was young, we used to play this game when I was probably like in like middle school, maybe 9th grade at the most. But so what we would do is it was hard to play in somebody's house where it was like you had to have like the house to yourself, like no parents and everything, because here's what you would do.
Sounds pervy.
Well, we had the glow in the dark hockey mask. I mean, it was a thing that you could get easily back then. What we would do is it was basically tag, but not tag. It wasn't just like tag, you're it. You had to actually grab the person and then maybe guess who they are or whatever. But so what it was is that everybody was told to wear from head to toe black, everything black sweatshirt or long sleeve shirt, black pants. And the person who's it has to wear the hockey mask. You turn off all the lights in the house, you close all the windows, and you can go anywhere. And the person with the hockey mask has to try to catch the people. So, hence tag or whatever you want to call it, manhunt or whatever, shit like that. But so it would be so freaky. You're hiding in the corner of a room maybe, and the mask is just like, all you see is this floating hockey mask. And it's like looking around, and sometimes it would look right at you, but you don't know if the person can see you or not because you're all in black and it's totally blacked out. But the mask looks like it's looking at you or around you. And sometimes you'd be like hiding like really like in a corner, ducking down, and the person might come right over you. And then maybe you walk away and you're like trying to be super quiet. But then if they did hear you, the whole object was you had to grab the other person and guess who it was, sort of like Marco Polo or whatever. And let me tell you, it got pretty crazy. Like sometimes people would stand up on furniture or like hide in a closet or wherever you would be to try to not get, caught by this whoever was it. And I forgot.
And that's why Florida is Florida. All because of this stupid game. That sounds scary as shit.
It was, but it was so much fun too. You just get like 4, 5, 6 people in the house. Everybody's blacked out, complete darkness. Like even the glow in the dark mask lets off a little bit of light, but not enough to where like you
what
could,
you can see, like you couldn't see.
But you couldn't see. Like literally, you could possibly walk right by somebody and not know. And on both ends, you're just like,
this is making me want. Let me have to put my feet up on the couch now.
It was so much fun. I forgot we called it something stupid, but we played it a bunch of times with a group of my friends.
It reminds me of in The Conjuring where they have.
Yeah, something like that. Because that's the other thing too. The people who are hiding would either make noises, or maybe you'd be again like ducking down. You'd like use your leg or something, and you'd like kick the person's foot, and the person who's it will turn around and swing their arms and like, where are you? You know, but they can't really see you at all.
We should play this in the new house.
It's a lot of fun.
Let me order a glow in the dark hockey mask.
We called it something stupid, but I don't remember. But it was
Manhunt
a lot
good.
of. Well, Manhunt was like a different version of where you would play outdoors, but it wasn't so much like complete darkness.
That sounds no, I don't want to play that. I think that's a good way to get possessed.
Here's the other thing, though. You get hurt a lot because, for example, maybe you don't know the coffee table's here, and you're walking around trying to catch somebody, and boom, you bash your leg into a table or
I think
a corner
I would do that
or a chair.
Intentionally. I would like move furniture, because if it's somebody's house, for example, they know the layout. But if you move shit, they're completely twisted. They don't know what the fuck.
Most of the time when we did it, it was basically what we would do is look for some parents going away for the weekend, or somebody who moved into a brand new house who hadn't set up everything yet, or whatever. Or in my case, one time one of my uncles went out of the country and they left the whole house to us, me to watch as a young kid. So I mean, I must have been at least in high school at that time, but we were like, yeah, nobody's here, we're gonna do it. I actually found this cool ass hiding spot in a closet where there was like one of those panels that you could push up.
Oh my gosh. And so you were in the attic?
I went up into I would like punch somebody and then run and go up into the top thing into the closet, and they'd come in the closet like, they had no idea that I'm above them now. And they would get so pissed off and then leave. And then I would come back down and then like push them from behind. Cause we would get rough. That's the thing. Like you'd go from behind the guy. Cause you can see. How are
you all not serial killers right now? Like this is a creep. Like I'm getting, like I literally had to put my feet up on the couch because I don't want the gooey to get me from under the couch.
Yeah, you would just sit like that. Maybe crawl on your hands and knees and like grab the guy by his legs.
I'm going to have nightmares tonight.
But then you just like jump up and run off as quick as you can. Cause let me tell you, with the windows closed, with all the lights off and everybody in all black, like you can't see shit in the dark. It's complete darkness, and you're just like, what the hell? What you know? And it was so much fun.
I think that's a good game to play, but I also think that it's like for sure way to get yourself a fucking Pazuzu. Like you're gonna get like, you're gonna get possessed.
We got a lot of bumps and bruises, not no Pazuzus.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, the fucking
demon from the Exorcist
demon. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It sounds really cool, but I would be terrified to play it. I don't know. I think we should do it.
It's scary on both ends.
I think you guys should do it, and if you do it, record it and send it to us.
It's definitely scary on both ends. It's scary for the person who's hunting the other people.
Oh my god, my heart!
But it's also scary for the people being hunted.
Okay, let's do it. Oh my gosh. Okay, do it and do it, and then we'll hashtag ice cream manhunt. Oh my god, that sounds so fucking scary.
It was the best.
So there's two things we need to do. We need to figure out how to make the movie, and we have to figure out. Oh, and then we have to play this game. I have to order a glow in the dark hockey mask. Oh my god, I'm so scared.
And in real life, somebody leave a glow in the dark hockey mask at a campground at night and tape it. Send it to us. I'd love to see the reactions. I'd love to see the reactions.
Yeah, so you can send us all of the things that we're doing wrong and causing your possession to hello@icecreampodcast.com.
That's our email address now, right? Hello?
Yes, hello@icecreampodcast.com.
Okay.
You can also check out our website icecreampodcast.com.
Yeah.
And you can go there. You can see what else is going on. You can check out the link to my Get Baked with Heidi channel where I bake some things that are good, but some things are like, I mean, a good try.
Yeah, we'll get started on that soon. I'll get baked while she bakes.
Yeah, so the premise is I bake because it's my new hobby. Stefan gets baked because he does that hobby anyway. And I talk about serial killers because they're my heart work.
You're a little crazy. But we already knew that. We already knew that.
Duh.
Hello at Ice Cream Podcast.
Hello at icecreampodcast.com.
It's pretty interesting. I can tell you that's definitely an email address that you came up with because it's very friendly. It's like, hello.
It's hello.
Hello, Clarice.
I hurt my throat.
You're doing it wrong.
Well, I mean, I'm not used to throat trauma. I date girls. That was good, right?
Yeah, that was good.
All right, so that's all for us today. Unless you want to traumatize me anymore, I'm definitely not going to sleep tonight.
Well, I think that's a good episode right there. We can wrap it up.
What's fucked up is I sleep with my blinds completely open, and literally, like, I was just thinking about this yesterday because I was like, you know what? If somebody really wanted to, they can just stand on that wall next to my window and just watch me all fucking night. Like, generally speaking, like, I'll get out of the shower and then I'll go and get dressed in my bedroom and I'm like completely naked. And my initial thought is, oh, the hospital next door is going to spy me, but they're like a whole block away. You know what I mean? But realistically, somebody can just step on that wall and now I'm creeped out. Now I'm scared. I need curtains.
Yeah. Well,
Oh, I'm on easy now.
That's great. See, that's what it's all about right there. The scare factor.
Okay.
I'm going to get a glow-in-the-dark hockey mask and just hang it in the closet.
No!
Or put it outside the window. It gets dark and it's going to be like...
And then we'll figure out if you can really dismember somebody by just pulling their limbs off.
I used to love playing like pranks like that. I had one friend of mine. This is real quick and then we'll wrap it up. A friend of mine... We used to be into watching horror movies, and I happened to. This is I love and I am a very, very, very big Pink Floyd fan. If you didn't know, you can see David Gilmour behind me over here.
And the guitar above.
What's that?
And the guitar above.
Oh yeah, the guitar above I don't think makes it in frame, but you can see my Gilmour painting back there. So if you're a deep Pink Floyd fan like myself, you know about the song called Echoes, which is from their album Metal. And Echoes is like a 20-minute extravaganza, which has a very, very eerie, creepy middle section where there's these really like haunting, screaming, screechy sounds in the middle that sounds like someone screaming, basically. And what I had done is I pre-recorded the screams onto like a track, like an MP3 file or whatever, and I left like, I don't know, 15 minutes of like empty space. So there was no music, there was no song, it was just silence. And then when it gets to this howling, screeching sound of these screams, I had this track. So what I did is I put the movie on in the living room. We're watching a movie. I cut the lights off. I made the mood really freaky. And then maybe halfway through the movie or something, I'd get up, pretend to get a drink or something, and I'd click play on the MP3 in the computer, and I'd turn the volume up on the computer really loud. I'd come back to the movie, and then in the middle, like 20 minutes later, when somebody has no idea what I did, all of a sudden you hear this. In the other room, and they're like, "What the fuck was that?"
No. See, the thing.
I love that.
Problem is, in my culture, you really do get freaked out about things like that. Like you have La Llorona, that's like one of the first stories you hear growing up, and then you have things like my mother once told a story about how she was chased by the devil, and like it's just our culture, but it's.
I used to try to get my friends to break into this boarded up house. There was a house that was boarded up, and I wanted to break in there, and like I wanted to smoke weed and play Ouija board in there. Nobody ever wanted to do it with me, but
yeah, because they weren't stupid.
We did have another house that eventually was like a nobody lived there, or it was an empty house that I happened to have a long driveway into, like, it was like a dirt road driveway that led back into like a woody area off the main road. And it was like a 2-story, really creepy fucking house. And we'd go back there into the backyard and smoke when we were like 16, 17. So we didn't want to get caught by the cops. And this was like it was like, I forgot what we used to call it. We called it like the Blair Witch House or something like that. And we would bring people over there. They would get so freaked out if they'd never been there before. Like, bro, what the fuck are you taking us? Go on this long driveway and then end up in the backyard into this like, just like, crazy looking Texas Chainsaw Massacre looking house. And then we'd sit there and light up and smoke weed and shit, and like the people would get so paranoid over there, like, man, come on, let's get fucking out of here, let's hurry up and go. And I'd be like, nah, man, just chill. I actually have a picture of me as a young kid smoking, and I'm in this like leather jersey that I made because I made cool leather
gear.
Yeah, it was a basketball jersey that I made
out of leather.
Yeah.
Because you're pretty awesome with leather.
It was a thing that I happened as I was in the South. We were big into like a lot of South Side hip hop and rap, and Master P had the No Limit jerseys, and they were made out of leather. So I was like, oh, I'll make this No Limit leather jersey, and so I made one for myself. And there's a picture of me that I have as a kid where I'm like smoking a blunt and just blowing the smoke in the air, and I'm sitting in like a chair, and we're in this backyard of this house. It was some creepy shit we used to do, but a lot of my friends weren't into that, and they hated my ideas.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay up. It's like 2:30 in the morning right now.
It really?
And I'm like gonna drink some more coffee. I'll just take a nap in the hot sun.
I think we can end this episode on that note. What do you think?
Can we like watch like Aladdin or something? I'm so I don't know. Okay, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Right? All right. Yep. Well, that's all for us today. I'm sufficiently creeped out. Thanks, asshole.
Well, thanks to everybody out there listening and watching, subscribing. You know,
give us
love
likes,
you guys.
Tell a friend. And we appreciate the support. Like, seriously, you guys
Spread
are awesome. Feel free to email us, hello@icecreampodcast.com. You can also visit our website, icecreampodcast.com. Check us out on social media. What is it? At Ice Cream Podcast or something. I don't know. It's in the notes.
Be on the lookout for the masks that we'll have available soon for sale.
No, they're already on the site.
All right, yeah. So
so check out our site for masks. They're nice little creepy horror prints. Coming soon will be creepy aprons. I don't know. We're trying to figure out some things. Don't forget to check out my channel, Get Baked with Heidi. And don't forget to check out dti.band for Stefan's music. Amazing music. Check out his single, Dangerous Environment. That's www.dti.band.
Yes, it is.
Available wherever you stream your music.
Yep. Stream it, download it, tell a friend, whatever.
Buy it, whatever.
Whatever. And stay safe out there in this crazy world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Okay, bye.